We're on the verge of a crisis. As global economies face mounting pressures, many people remain unaware of the storm that's brewing, much like the period leading up to the 2008 financial collapse. Today, I want to discuss the critical economic trends that are aligning to potentially trigger a collapse of the US dollar and, by extension, a massive global financial crisis. Back in 2007, just before the Great Recession, many denied the warning signs. Today, we face similar risks, but the focus is now on rising interest rates and inflation. Since the beginning of quantitative easing, QE, and near-zero interest rates, experts have warned of the consequences of this policy. Now, with interest rates rising, both banks and governments, especially the US government, with its massive debt, are vulnerable. Despite seemingly positive economic numbers, especially in labor reports, the reality is different. The quality of jobs is deteriorating. We've lost tens of thousands of high-paying manufacturing jobs, and the new jobs being created are often part-time and low-wage positions. The US labor force is stretched thin, with more people working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. There's a misconception that inflation is a sign of economic growth. In reality, inflation is a symptom of excessive money printing and government deficit spending. While a strong economy can temporarily mask inflation, the underlying problems persist. As the economy weakens and inflation rises, we face the possibility of both a recession and higher inflation, which creates a difficult scenario for the Federal Reserve to manage. The US is heading toward a sovereign debt crisis. The interest on the national debt is set to become one of the largest federal expenses, surpassing even defense spending. With trillions of dollars in debt maturing soon, and the need to borrow even more, the question arises: how will the US afford to pay its creditors? If inflation continues to rise and interest rates climb, it could lead to an untenable situation for the US economy. As inflation worsens and confidence in the dollar erodes, the global demand for US treasuries will decline. If the dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency, the US economy, built on debt and imports, could face an unprecedented collapse. We've relied on the dollar's perceived strength for too long, but that perception is beginning to change. Throughout history, gold has been the ultimate safe haven. With central banks around the world increasing their gold reserves, the move away from fiat currencies toward hard assets may be inevitable. A return to a gold-backed monetary system could restore stability, but it will require a significant revaluation of gold prices. If the dollar collapses, the consequences for Americans will be dire. Prices will skyrocket, jobs will disappear, and the US government will struggle to maintain its spending, including on the military. This crisis could be a wake-up call, forcing much-needed reforms, but the path forward won't be easy. We are standing at a crossroads. The dollar's dominance has allowed the US to live beyond its means for decades, but that era may be coming to an end. To prepare, it's crucial to understand these risks and take steps to protect your assets before the storm hits. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay informed in these uncertain times.